I think where you can encourage innovation is in not telling people how to do things, giving them the chance to develop the information, giving them the projects. I think part of the challenge with encouraging your staff to innovate is that a lot of times we have such a clear expectation of how they should do a project, but I sometimes find if you give them the option to figure out what the steps are, who they need to interview, how they need to figure the parts and pieces out, that you get a better result. The traditional accountant role, we are shifting to our guys in the field. That we all of a sudden have hundreds of operations guys becoming our accountants and our frontline data collectors, as opposed to having a more experienced person who has a consistency about the work that they do. And I want to be respectful of the fact that we don't want to overload operations folks with accounting tasks. So it's been a big shift for us, and it's something we're looking at and focusing on. The offshoot of it is just making sure we're getting the right data collected at the right point. I'll say the other part of it is everything is capturable. You can document and you can report on everything. And I think the quick rush is to have everybody want all the data all the time. And my challenge, and I think my job, is to wrangle the information into a meaningful format. So I'm not just giving out information. A lot of times people will call and ask for something and they're not asking for the right thing. But if you don't challenge them and understand what it is that someone is asking for, then you're not helping the organization. And so ultimately to that end, what we've tried to use technology for is as an assistive tool, but I've continued to encourage my team to push back, ask the right questions, and make sure just because you can produce a report doesn't mean you should. You got to make sure you're giving them the right information. It's important not to get too tricky with metrics, and I'm lucky to work at a place where I can maintain that position. And the trick for me is I see so many people who pick one metric and really focus on it and make bad business decisions because they're trying to improve one metric. So we've spent a fair amount of time internally with my management team trying to come up with what we think is the most important metric for us. And we focus now almost entirely on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis on net income per employee. What I love about it is it helps me with growth. It helps me understand our cost management, how effective are we increasing our revenues and sales and margin while we're decreasing the costs that go with it, and then how productive are our employees. We want to continue to see the net income per employee grow, not at the expense of our employees, but because we share our profit with our employees. The founder of our company has always shared profits with our employees, so knowing what the net income per employee ends up to be after we've already made payments to other vendors and regulatory agencies, that number grows, our employees get more of that share, and so that's the number I really focus on because I do feel like it covers so many different metrics and it helps us make the right decisions. If we're trying to look at a transaction or something, we want to know how is that going to affect our net income per employee. High dollar revenues with a low margin product, it might just be more effort than it's worth.